For today's battle, Salamanders are bringing a Land Raider Redeemer, packing 6 aggressors with a captain, a Gladiator Lancer, an Impulsor filled with Hellblasters and a Librarian, Adrax leading a squad of Assault Intercessors, a squad of Infiltrators, 2 5-man Scout Squads, a squad of Eradicators led by a Librarian, 2 3-man squads of Inceptors, and a 5-man squad of Intercessors. Grey Knights are going to start by bringing 3 Nemesis Dread Knights, 1 Grandmaster NDK, a Brotherhood Tech Marine, Kaldor Drago leading a 5-man squad of Terminators, a Librarian leading a 5-man squad of Terminators, and finally Canis Rex as the ally. Today's deployment is Search and Destroy. Primary mission is Take and Hold, and mission rule is Hidden Supplies. Salamanders start the game by scouting back behind cover on the center objective, and the Grey Knights are going to be going first. Their secondaries are going to be Overwhelming Force and no prisoners. Canis Rex is going to advance up the side of the board, hoping to stay in as much cover as possible. Drago and his squad are going to advance to the other building, staging for next turn. Brother Tech Marine advances to tow on to the objective. NDK will move from obscuring to obscuring. Second NDK is going to stage as well. A fairly uneventful turn for the Grey Knights, as no shooting, no charges, and no scoring. They will discard both secondaries for a CP. Salamanders draw Marked for Death and Storm Hostile Objective, which they'll cycle for Recover Assets. Oath target is Kaldor Drago squad, and Marked for Death targets are the 2 NDKs and the Librarian Terminator squad in the back. Movement starts off with the Redeemer getting a massive advance across the board. The Impulsor will join in the fun, getting a solid roll on its advance as well. Infiltrators are going to spread out to further screen out the backfield. Scouts have decided to move back behind the building. Lancer will peek out to get eyes on the Terminators along the center objective. Lancer fires into the Terminator, managing to take down one of them. That is going to end the turn for the Salamanders, holding on to Recover Assets, but discarding Marked for Death for a CP. At the end of the turn, the Librarian Terminator squad will get picked up. Top of round 2, Grey Knights are going to draw Recover Assets and extend battle lines as secondaries. Start of the command phase, Drago's squad will regenerate a Terminator, and they will score 15 points on primary. Brotherhood Tech Marine buffs the nearest NDK, giving it a +1 to hit, but no heals at this time. Canis starts the movement phase by moving further away from the Redeemer and the aggressors, but still towing onto the building so he could see the scout squad. NDK repositions so it has line of sight on the Impulsor while still having cover. Drago's squad is going to remain on the objective but try to hide as much as possible. And the Librarian squad drops in 9 inches away from the Lancer. Start of the shooting phase, the NDK is going to fire into Adrax's squad. The Salamanders are going to spend 1 CP to Armor of Contempt. The NDK manages to still take down 3 Intercessors. Librarian does its Vortex of Doom, and the rest of the shooting from the squad brings the Lancer down to 7. NDK into the Impulsor knocks off 3 wounds. Salamanders are then going to spend 1 CP for Burning Vengeance to shoot back. Grey Knights are going to also spend 1 CP on True Silver Armor. Hellblasters manage to take the NDK down to only 6 wounds remaining, but they do lose one of their brethren in the process. Canis into the scout squad and he scoops them up. Librarian squad makes their 9-inch charge into the Lancer with enough room to be able to consolidate into Adrax if needed. Lethal Hits does the trick and the squad picks up the Lancer. That will end the turn for the Grey Knights, scoring 5 points for extend battle lines and holding on to Recover Assets until the end of the next turn. Salamanders score Recover Assets for 3 at the end of the turn, and on the start of their turn, they draw Extend Battle Lines and Cleanse as secondaries. They'll score 5 points on primary for controlling 1 objective. The Land Raider starts off the movement phase by pushing up the field. Hellblasters will get back into the Impulsor and it pushes up towards the Terminator squad. The Scout squad will move in behind the Land Raider. The Intercessors make a push towards the center objective. Eradicators come in from reserves with line of sight on Canis Rex. The aggressors are going to disembark from the Land Raider, and the Grey Knights are going to spend 1 CP to Mist of Deimos the Dread Knight in response. 3-man Inceptor squad comes in with line of sight on the Tech Marine. Second Inceptor squad lines up its guns against the Librarian squad Terminators. Start of the shooting phase, Eradicators will fire into Canis Rex, managing to knock off 10 wounds, bringing him down to only 12 wounds remaining. Inceptors fire into the Tech Marine, doing just enough damage to take him down. Inceptors into the Terminators failed to score a wound. Ajax squad will fire next and unfortunately score no joy. The Hellblasters and Librarian fire out of the Impulsor firing deck and manage to take down 3 Terminators. Ajax and company make their charge into the Terminators, and the Aggressors also make their charge into Canis Rex. Aggressor Captain is going to use their free stratagem to give the entire squad +1 to wound against Canis, and that is going to be enough to take Canis Rex down. Grey Knights will spend 2 CP to interrupt fighting with the Librarian Terminator squad into Ajax, managing only to kill the Intercessors, leaving Ajax to fight back. Ajax fights back with the Vengeance, killing both the remaining Terminators and pulling the Librarian out of combat. That is going to end the turn for the Salamanders, scoring 2 points for Cleanse and the full 5 points for Extend Battle Lines. Grey Knights are also going to score 3 points at the end of the turn for recovering assets with 2 units. The Librarian, remembers, has to go smash that subscribe button and gets picked up at the end of the turn. Secondaries are Behind Enemy Lines and Sabotage. Grey Knights will also score 10 points on primary. Sir Hector will bravely run away from the Aggressor squad. NDK moves in on both Ajax and the Inceptor squad. Drago and his squad go after the Inceptor squad in the back line. NDK will pop out of cover to be able to get eyes on the Aggressor squad. The Librarian will bamf back in, being able to Vortex of Doom Ajax while also completing the sabotage action. Grandmaster NDK will come in with line of sight on the Aggressors. Final NDK will come in as backup on the objective, as well as additional shooting into the Aggressor squad. Vortex of Doom manages 3 mortals on Ajax. The Grandmaster and 2 NDKs are going to fire into the Aggressor squad. Salamanders are going to spend the free stratagem for Armor of Contempt, and the NDKs manage to scoop up all the Aggressors, leaving only the Captain. Final NDK fires into the Impulsor, leaving it at 1 wound remaining. Charges for the Grey Knights. Caldor Drago squad makes it into the Inceptors. The NDK fails its first charge, so the Grey Knights will spend 1 CP to re-roll that, making the charge, but leaving the Dread Knight still 3 inches away from the Inceptors, unable to consolidate into them after combat. Salamanders have the ability to interrupt, so the NDK is going to swing into Ajax first, and the hero manages to make all of his saves, staying alive. Caldor Drago manages to take down all 3 Inceptors on his own. Clapback from Ajax brings the NDK down to 7 wounds remaining. The NDK surviving means that the Grey Knights will score behind enemy lines for 3 points and hold on to Sabotage until the end of the next turn. Bottom of round 3, Salamanders will draw Establish Locus and Storm Hostile Objective. They'll score 10 points on primary for owning 2 objectives. Start of the movement phase, Ajax will fall back, and the Grey Knights will spend 1 CP to Mist of Deimos away the NDK. Eradicators will hop into the Redeemer. Redeemer will move further into No Man's Land. Intercessors are going to move towards the southern edge of the board. Captain is going to move back to guard that rear objective. Ajax will get in the Impulsor, which will then pull up next to the Redeemer, remaining in cover. The remaining Scout Squad will come in out of reserves near the Grey Knights' home objective. Start of the shooting phase, the Redeemer will fire everything into the NDK and manages to take it down. The Impulsor uses its firing deck and sends everything at the Grandmaster NDK, leaving it with only 6 wounds remaining. That's going to end the turn for the Salamanders, scoring 4 points for Established Locus in the enemy deployment zone, and they will hold on to Storm Hostile Objective until next turn. Grey Knights will score 3 points on Sabotage and will pick up the Librarian. NDK also gets picked up. Top of round 4, and the Grey Knights draw Defend, Stronghold, and Assassination. The Grandmaster succeeds its leadership check, scoring them 10 points on primary. Sir Hector will move back onto the home objective. Wounded NDK bamps in going after the scouts. Full health NDK teleports into the backfield, and the Grey Knights will spend 1 CP for Prognosticated Arrival, placing the Librarian on the objective with line of sight on the Captain. Vortex of Doom brings the captain down to 1, so it takes the NDK's flamer to finish the job. The side cannon on the intercessors manages to pick up 2 of them. NDK into the scouts manages to kill only 2 of them. Grandmaster will fire into the impulsor, destroying it. It does not explode, but a Hellblaster does die. This means it gets to shoot on its way out, and it does just enough damage to pick up the Grandmaster NDK. Grey Knights then proceed to fill all their charges, so that's going to be the end of the turn for them, scoring 5 points for assassination and reading the writing on the wall, discarding defend stronghold for a CP. Bottom of round 4, Salamanders kept storm hostile objective and draw assassination for the turn. They will score 10 points on primary. Scout squad will advance to have just enough movement to make it on the objective and contest it. Land Raider Redeemer will back up to take control of the northern objective. Intercessors move in to charge the Librarian. Hellblasters move around the corner to secure the objective. Eradicators disembark from the Land Raider, getting line of sight of both the Librarian and the NDK. Deciding that they are giving up assassination with Sir Hector anyways, the Grey Knights will spend 1 CP to Mist of Deimos the NDK. Inceptors advance across no man's land to secure another objective. Knights spend 1 CP to rapid ingress the NDK. Start of the shooting phase, the Eradicators decimate the Librarian. Scouts fire into Sir Hector and somehow he manages to survive. They aren't able to charge this turn because they advanced, but with OC1 it's enough to contest the objective. No charges from the Salamanders, but they will score 5 points for assassination and 4 points for storm hostile objective this turn. Final round for the Grey Knights, and they draw storm hostile objective and secure no man's land. They will score 5 points on primary. Going into the movement phase, the NDK goes after the remaining scouts. Terminators are going to move forward as much as they can, hoping to make a long bomb charge. Salamanders spend 1 CP on Overwatch with the Inceptors and fail to score a wound. Second NDK moves in on the Infiltrators on the home objective. The NDK will fire into the Infiltrators, taking down 2 of them. Second NDK cleans up the 2 remaining scouts, and the Terminators elect not to fire to avoid the charge becoming any longer. The NDK makes its charge into the Infiltrators. Grey Knights will spend 1 CP to tank shock, but fail to score a mortal. Terminators have a 10-inch charge, but thanks to Drago's once per battle ability, a 7 on the die means they make it. Kaldor Drago will start off combat by swinging into the Inceptors, and he manages to single-handedly scoop up the entire squad. The NDK swings into the Infiltrators, managing to take down only 1 of them. On the clapback, the Infiltrators score 2 wounds on the NDK. That is going to end the turn for the Grey Knights, scoring 4 points for storm hostile objective and only 2 points for secure no man's land. Last turn of the game, and Salamanders draw area denial and defend stronghold. They'll spend 1 CP to cycle it for no prisoners. Start of the movement phase, the Hellblaster is going to push forward towards the Terminators, leaving 1 man on the objective to hold it. The Land Raider needs a 5-inch advance to make it onto the objective, so the Grey Knights decide to spend 1 CP to Mist of Deimos to avoid giving up 4 points for no prisoners. First advance for the Land Raider is a 3, so they are going to CP reroll that, and it gets there with a 6. That means at the end of the game, the Salamanders are going to score 5 points for area denial, and then get full 15 points on primary. That is going to make the final score 58-54 in favor of the Salamanders. Thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. If you've made it this far in the video, please do consider dropping a sub. And as always, happy gaming.